guys, my name is Trinh and today I am here to do April wrap up. I cannot believe May is coming. May is in like a few days, which is crazy. So for April, I read 4 books, watched 9 movies, watched 1 TV show, and then like for music there's like 2 I want to discuss. But yes, I did not read a lot because I was like busy writing my own like first draft of a novel, but then also I was like watching this amazing TV show that I will discuss later on, but it's so fantastic and I could not stop watching the TV show. For movies, I watched so many films because Avengers Infinity War came out like a few days ago, so I watched a lot of Marvel movies to catch up with that, of course. So let's start with books, shall we? The first book that I finished in April is Gods and Monsters by Christopher Bram. I actually read this book for school. So the original title is called Father of Frankenstein. It's about a guy named James Whale. He is a gay ex-director and you know he retires, so he created these 2 famous films. They're called Frankenstein and then Bride of Frankenstein, if I remember correctly. So yes, he's very famous, but at the same time when this story starts, he's like really old and he suffers from like a stroke, I believe, either a stroke or a heart attack. So he's very old and he lives alone with his mate Maria, and he befriends this gardener named Boone, I believe, Clay Boone. It's been a while, man. I don't remember anything, but yeah, I finished the story and it was really interesting because we go back in time a little bit. So in the present time, he is a retired director, but sometimes we go back in time, so we see him with other famous people directing Frankenstein or like Bride of Frankenstein. It's really fascinating. When I finished this book, I was just sitting there like, wow, like what a story. So my class and I discussed a lot about this book and it's really good, but at the same time, there are some things that I don't know, I feel like I didn't really enjoy as much. So for the characters, sometimes I do care about them. I am really curious about the story, but at the end of the day, I don't know, it kind of just like escaped from my mind. So overall, I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. The second book I read is Dating You, Hating You by Christina Lauren. If you don't know, I love Christina Lauren. I have read a lot of their books. It's actually 2 people, Christina and Lauren, hence the name. Basically, it is about, oh my god, Carter and Evie. I can't believe I don't remember the characters. Carter and Evie are agents in Hollywood. They met in the beginning, but then eventually it turns out that their firms merged together, so they have to work, but at the same time they have to compete against each other because their boss is a fucking asshole. So yeah, Carter and Evie have to compete with each other, but at the same time they are attracted to each other, so it's like a huge mess and all that fun stuff. Honestly, this is not my favorite Christina Lauren book, so at the end I was just like about it. It's like an average book in my opinion. Carter is, I feel like, the main issue, but I do like the fact that at the end of the book he does acknowledge his mistakes, because while he's like competing with Evie, he is just like a huge asshole. I really like Evie. I feel like a lot of side characters kind of fell apart towards the end of the book, and this whole plot and mystery, I don't know how I feel about it, because I do like how at the end it has a conclusion in a way, but I don't know, sometimes it's not satisfying. So I gave this book 2.5 out of 5 stars. So for movies, like I said, I watch a lot of Marvel movies because I had to catch up for Avengers Infinity War. So let's talk about these 2 Marvel movies that I love so much. So the first one is Guardians of the Galaxy. I know, I cannot believe I have never watched this film. This came out in 2014. It's like 4 years ago. It's crazy. Basically, this film is amazing. I love this film. It stars Peter Quill, or Star-Lord. He is actually from Missouri, but then he gets kidnapped and he goes to space. This film is really good because we're introduced to Thanos, like really introduced to Thanos this time. So Thanos is like the Titan who's evil. He is actually the main villain in Avengers Infinity War, and I'm so glad that I learned more about him in this film because we see Thanos, but then we also see Gamora, who is Thanos' adopted sister, then Nebula and all that fun stuff. So it's really interesting, and this film is actually about one Infinity Stone, whatever stone that is, I forgot. But anyway, it's about this group of misfits trying to find like the stone to, prevent Thanos from having the stone. So yeah, you get it. It's so good. Oh my god, when I finished the film, I just sat there and I was like, wow, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe I've waited this long to watch an amazing movie. This film has 60s and 70s music, which is like amazing in my opinion, because usually in Marvel movies it's all about the action and stuff like that, but the song is like like sometimes the music or like the score is like okay. But for Guardians, I love how the director used 60s and 70s music, because you know Peter was taken from Earth in like the 1980s, I believe 1988 if I remember correctly. But yeah, he has this cassette tape full with amazing music, so I'm so glad that, you know, the music is like a huge highlight from this movie. I love the fact that it's funny. This film is hilarious. Oh my god, there's so many things that I still remember, and I'm really tempted to watch the movie again. I love the characters very much. Yeah, that's all I have to say for the first one. So for the first one, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoy it, but like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is amazing. So now let's talk about the second film. Oh my god, I love this film so much. I love it even more than the first film, which is crazy I guess for some people, because I know that there are a few people who prefer the first movie more than the second one, but I prefer the second one way more. So if you don't know, Volume 2 is on Netflix, so I watch it on Netflix because I am cool. In this film, we really get to know all of the characters. I feel like at this point we really get to know like the backstory for like the side characters too. Like I said, it's funny, it's hilarious, and not just that, the music, again, A++ on the music. Oh my god, music from the 60s and 70s. It's like a gem. Like seriously, something that you can never find again. I just love music from the 60s and 70s very much. And Baby Groot is adorable as well. So in the second film, we really get to know about Peter and his parents, especially his dad. So that's all I have to say. It's so amazing. I highly recommend Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2. Shout out to Rebecca for forcing me to watch these films, because she knows that I have not watched them yet. So for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, of course. So the next film I watched is Lady Bird, and it stars Saoirse Ronan, and I watched it because my brother wanted me to watch it, and of course it's like an Oscar nominated film. The main character, Lady Bird, I forgot her real name because she prefers to be called Lady Bird. So she's in high school in Sacramento. I believe this is in like the early 2000s. Anyway, it's about her in high school, in senior year of high school, and she deals with a lot of issues with her mom, but also with her friends and then boys and college and stuff like that. So it's really interesting because her relationship with her mom is the one that stood out the most, because her mom, she's like the kind of mom who picks fights with people, especially with her children. It's crazy, like the shit that her mom says. I was just sitting there and I'm like shocked. But then also Lady Bird is kind of crazy also. When I finished this film, I was just sitting there, I was like, that's it? I feel like it's not satisfying. It's interesting, but I wouldn't say it's like my favorite film of all time. I know many people love this film, and I know that a lot of people in my life relate to like the main character, Lady Bird, but for me, I cannot relate to her at all because I find her really like reckless. There's a scene where she basically lies about herself to make herself look better in this girl's eyes, because this girl is like very popular and stuff. I don't relate to that at all because I don't lie. I don't like lying about myself to make myself look better. I just think that's really stupid. I couldn't relate to that at all, and I do notice that a lot of this film is just really fast. Like I feel like there's a lot of moments where it just like it happened and then we move on really quickly, so I feel like we don't really get to sit there and just like take it all in. It moves so fast. I gave Lady Bird 3 out of 5 stars. If you don't know, Beyonce performed at Coachella this month, well in April, and she killed it. Oh my god, her performance is amazing. And yes, I saw it live. I literally stayed up until like 4 a.m. to watch her live performance at Coachella, and it's called Beychella. I think that's how you say it, Beychella or Beychella? Beychella. It's amazing. Her performance at Coachella was so phenomenal, and I'm so glad many people are talking about it, because if you don't know, I love Beyonce. I have always known that she is a great live performer because I have seen her live. I have seen her at her concert. Oh my god, it's amazing. So when I heard that she's performing at Coachella, I knew for a fact she's gonna kill it. And she did. She killed it. Oh my god, it was amazing. I give this a 5 out of 5 star performance, of course. It's iconic. The show that I watched in April is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I finally watched this show. I decided to give it a chance because I saw it on Twitter and I was like, you know what, I'm really curious on what this is about. So I watched it. I love this damn show so much. I finished the entire show within like a week and a half. Anyway, I basically ignored everything in my life and just watched this show. It was so good. If you don't know, season 5 is going on right now. So it's on Fox every Sunday. Season 5 is coming to an end, I believe, on May 20th. So this shows follow a bunch of characters who are detectives. We have Chick Peralta, Amy Santiago, Rosa Diaz, Charles Boyle, Gina Linetti, Sergeant Jeffords, and then Captain Holt. We have so many characters, but not just that, they're diverse because we have an openly gay black captain, and then we also have a bisexual Latina, and then we have 2 Latina, we have 2 black men in this show. Like, that's amazing. And I love this show because it's actually funny. It's hilarious. I laugh in every single episode. I feel like that's really rare because sometimes like I like a show and I laugh, but then like I don't laugh at every single episode. But for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I actually laugh in every episode, and I love that. I love how this show talks about real issue like racism and homophobia in the police department, because this takes place in New York, NYPD and stuff like that. Brooklyn Nine-Nine has become my second favorite TV show of all time. That is huge because that's a really high place in my opinion. Like, number 1 is Avatar: The Last Airbender, of course, but number 2 is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like, it has taken that spot. So I give this show 5 out of 5 stars. This is a show that I highly recommend watching because I think it's so good, and I'm so scared that like it's not getting another season. Like, there's like rumors that like Fox won't renew the show, and I'm like really scared. Like, I want this show to come back so I can have something to look forward every Sunday. So for music, a soundtrack that I listen to the most in April is actually Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 soundtrack. The music is amazing. There are so many songs from like the 60s and 70s. You know, the songs that they play in the movie, they're actually in the soundtrack. So there are so many amazing songs that I discover and I love so much. So the very first one is Mr. Blue Sky, of course. It's a song where Baby Groot danced to at the beginning of the movie. I love that song so much. I love Lakeshore Drive. I love The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. That was really iconic too. There are so many songs that I love. I highly recommend giving this soundtrack a listen. If you love the movie, oh my god, you're gonna love the soundtrack. This soundtrack deserves a 5 out of 5 stars in my opinion. So for the next few movies, they're all Marvel movies because like I said, I had to watch so many to catch up for Avengers Infinity War. So Avengers Age of Ultron, I finally watched this film. I didn't watch it the first time it came out. I don't know why, but yeah, 3 years later, I finally watched it. It was okay in my opinion. It's just like, I don't know, there's just so many things that I don't really give a shit about in this movie. Like I said, I won't go in depth with much because I feel like it's just best to like watch this film and like know for yourself. The gang, you know, the Avengers gathered together to fight the Ultron, whatever that, I still don't even know what the hell it was, but we have new characters. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars because it was really boring. Like, there was a part where I fell asleep because I could not keep up with like the conversation, so I fell asleep. It's just not as amazing as I thought. I still like the first one very much, you know, the first Avenger. So yeah, Age of Ultron was okay in my opinion. So the next 3 movies, I basically watched all of Captain America. The first one I watched is Captain America, the first Avenger. So with this film, it was still kind of boring, but it's also really interesting because Captain America, if you don't know, he's fucking old. Like, if you think about it, he's old because he was born years and years ago basically. So he fought in World War II and blah blah blah, and then he was frozen, and then yeah, they found him, and then he's alive. Somehow he's fucking alive. I still don't even get it. But anyway, this goes back to like the 1940s, I believe, around when World War II happened. So we find him with other characters, and then he fought in the war and fun stuff like that. So it was an okay film. I still enjoyed it, but at the same time, there's like a few parts where I fell asleep. So I give this movie a 3 out of 5 stars. The second movie is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I really enjoyed this film. This film is about, like I said, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and That's all I have to say. Honestly, there are so many amazing fighting scenes, and honestly it's like really great. And Captain America, oh my god, Steve Rogers is like a sweetheart because he's so loyal and he's so nice. I gave The Winter Soldier 4 out of 5 stars. The last Captain America movie is called Civil War, so this is on Netflix. I watched it on Netflix, which is amazing because I hate using other websites. So this movie is actually about, you know, civil war between Captain America and what the hell's his name? Iron Man. I forgot his name. I really enjoyed this film too. There are so many amazing fighting scenes, and I really like a lot of the characters in this film. I kind of like the whole Civil War aspect because it's really, what you call it? Not controversial, but what the hell's that word? Complex. There we go. It's very complex. I will say the villain is like, in my opinion. A lot of times I'm just like, dude, your goal sucks ass, but like your method works so well, so like I cannot help but like admire the villain. That's all I have to say. So Spider-Man is introduced in this film, Black Panther also. I gave Civil War 4 out of 5 stars. The next one I watched is Thor Ragnarok. I did not watch Thor or Thor The Dark World. Rebecca told me to not watch those two films. She was just like, honestly, you don't really need to see those two films. You can just like know that this happened at the end of the second movie and then just watch Thor Ragnarok, and I did, and I really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. It was so funny. I laughed a lot, and I really appreciate that. So it's about Thor and his sister Hela, and yeah, his sister Hela is played by Cate Blanchett. Oh my god, that's amazing. I will say, they say the G word, G-Y-P-S-Y, you know, that ethnic slur, and I really did not appreciate that at all because I thought that was just so unnecessary. Like, they could have said any other words instead of that slur. I'm just saying. So it was really disappointing to see that, but I still enjoyed the movie somewhat. It's really funny, like I said, and I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. So the next film is Avengers Infinity War. I watched this film the day it came out on Friday. I don't want to say much because if I do say something, I might spoil you. I will say I highly recommend watching this right after Thor Ragnarok because this takes place literally right after Thor Ragnarok, because I watched Thor Ragnarok after I was done. I went to the movie theater, I watched Avengers Infinity War, and it took place like right after. If you don't know what this film is, it's basically a bunch of like superheroes from Marvel all in this one film. I enjoyed this film. I did. I really enjoyed this film. That's all I have to say. So I gave this film a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm not gonna say much, but I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's not the perfect 5 out of 5 in my opinion, but still. A 4 out of 5. That's pretty high in my opinion. So the third book that I finished is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I won't talk much about this because I am planning to do a book review and discussion for Clockwork Angel. So you will get that next week, hopefully. This book takes place in 1878 in London. So we have new characters, a new plot, new villain, new everything basically. But still, it's quite similar to City of Bones, which is the first book of the Mortal Instruments. It was okay in my opinion. It didn't wow me the first time I read this 5 years ago, but like I said, I will talk more in my book review and discussion. So for Clockwork Angel, I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. The last book that I finished is The History of Love by Nicole Krauss. I read this book for school and I really enjoyed this book. It was really good in my opinion. So for this book, there are so many point of views that we read from. So we read from Elma Singer, who is like a 15-year-old girl. Her father died from cancer and she's trying to like find a man for a mom because her mom is like very lonely, very depressed because of her husband's death. She is named after a character in a book called The History of Love, which is like her parents' favorite book of all time. Then we also read from a man named Leo, and he is a survivor from the Holocaust because he's from Poland, he's Jewish, so he is one of the survivors actually. So he goes to he goes to America and stuff. So yeah, I won't say much because I feel like it's so best to read this book on your own and not knowing much, but just know that it's really sad. Like, it's really sad. I didn't cry, but I was just like sitting there very depressed. Yes, I read this for school. It was really good, but at the same time there are so many questions that I still have because I feel like the ending is not satisfying. So I give this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So those are the books, movies, TV show, and music that I love and discover in April. Oh my God, don't even get me started on Guardians of the Galaxy. I still think about it to this day. I am planning to read a lot of books in May, so hopefully I can accomplish that, because sometimes I just don't want to read. Sometimes I just want to watch a movie or like watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye!